position. Defenders win. Final round. Casting shadows of the battle is about to start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Defend your position.
He's celebrating, of course. Celebration. If you can't go back to your country, if your family members were unjustly imprisoned and tortured.
Attackers win. Final round.
The CEO of United Healthcare. Is the suspect a man with a grievance against United Health? Is this the work of an amateur who got lucky? Or was this the perfect crime? In breaking news, police have arrested 26-year-old Luigi Mangione in connection with the murder. More on him in a second. Now, this is a breaking news story, so we can expect the facts to change as we get more information. But here's what we know right now. Now, FYI, in a few seconds, I'm going to show surveillance footage of the shooting. Some of you might find this disturbing, so skip forward now if you'd prefer not to watch that. As you can see, as Thompson approached the hotel, the gunman fired multiple shots, striking him in the back and right calf. After the initial shot, the firearm reportedly jammed, and the shooter cleared the malfunction and continued firing. A witness fled as Thompson stumbled and fell to the ground. The CCTV footage appears to show the gunman had fitted a suppressor, also known as a silencer, to his pistol. Now, silencers are legal in 42 states, but to purchase one legally, you usually have to undergo a background check and pay a transfer tax. That's another potential paper trail for the NYPD to follow, but there are 3.5 million registered silencers in the USA, though it is possible for many people to manufacture a suppressor on their own. NYPD Chief Joseph Kenney said the shooter was comfortable with firearms. Quote, "From watching the video, it does appear he is proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunction pretty quickly." Now, we don't know if this means the suspect was a professional hitman, but the NYPD has not ruled that out. The suspect fled the scene on foot, then used an e-bike to escape, heading north to Central Park. Surveillance cameras captured his movements, and the NYPD is using facial recognition technology and tracking devices to locate him.
The shooter appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing a light brown or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, black and white sneakers, and a very distinctive gray backpack.
The suspect carried a gray backpack that was an older version of the Everyday backpack by Peak Design, a bag meant for photographers but designed for casual use. Police found the suspect's backpack in Central Park. It was filled with Monopoly money, and they sent it to the forensics lab to be processed for DNA. The NYPD released several images of the suspect, and in this video you can see him escaping on a bike.
Police tell ABC News the shooter first fled on foot and then got on an electric bike heading north towards Central Park.
And here he is pointing the gun at Thompson.
The masked gunman comes up behind Thompson and shoots him in the back. Nearby witnesses would later describe the suspect as holding a gun with a silencer. Surveillance footage shows the gunman continuing to shoot Thompson as he walked towards him, stopping to clear a gun jam before firing again.
Now, police believe the suspect stayed at two hostels. They obtained a search warrant to search the High New York hostel. These surveillance photos show the suspect at the front desk of the High New York hostel, which is located in Manhattan's Upper West Side. The police recovered a phone, water bottle, and granola bar wrappers that they believe are linked to the shooter. The shooter purchased the water and granola bar from Starbucks, and the police sent both the items to the medical examiner to check for fingerprints. Now, people immediately started speculating that the homicide was linked to United Healthcare's healthcare coverage decisions, especially since United Health denies the most claims of any healthcare insurer. Thompson's wife, Paulette, told NBC News that he'd received some threats before the shooting, possibly in relation to a lack of healthcare coverage. She said, quote, "I don't know the details, I just know that he said there were some people that had been threatening him." And as Fox Business host Cheryl Casone explains, back in April, there was a big protest about claims denied at the company's headquarters in Minnesota.
There was a huge protest. This was about claim denials on patients. I just want to bring this up because these protesters were very organized. This is months ago.
Right.
And they were talking about, look, and his wife has said that there were threats made against him. And again, this is not even 24 hours old, but you just have to throw out there that if you've got emotion, you've got motive. I heard your guest, your law enforcement guest in the A block, money. I think that I think a lot's going to come out of this investigation.
Now, obviously, if you're going to assassinate a healthcare CEO, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle can help. If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a data breach, especially if you got a data breach letter saying that your information might have been leaked, or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. It's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you can maximize your recovery. And by the way, we don't get paid unless you do, and there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number that's on screen right now for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team. So click below. As we pointed out, this is a rapidly developing story, and the motive is as yet unknown. United Healthcare is currently fighting allegations that it uses AI to deny coverage to patients. These claim denials are a real problem for sick people navigating the American healthcare system, especially for older people, and it's not wrong to be outraged by these claims. And according to at least one class action lawsuit filed last year, United Healthcare utilized a defective artificial intelligence algorithm to wrongfully deny elderly patients coverage for medically necessary extended care under Medicare Advantage plans. The lawsuit claims that United Health used this flawed AI system to override, quote, real doctors' determinations as to the amount of care a patient in fact requires to recover. Plaintiffs say the AI system led to premature discharge of patients from healthcare facilities. Now, United Healthcare denied the allegations. The company said the AI tool is not used for coverage decisions, but rather to assist in informing providers about patient care needs. Separately, the New York Post recently reported that the Department of Justice was investigating Thompson and other company executives for insider trading. And according to Crain's New York in February of 2024, Thompson exercised stock options and sold United Healthcare shares worth $15.1 million, less than 2 weeks before the public announcement of a federal antitrust investigation into United Health Group. And this was Thompson's first stock sale since becoming CEO of United Health in 2021. And then following the disclosure of the DOJ probe, the company's stock price experienced a significant decline. And the DOJ has not confirmed the insider trading allegations. However, in November, the Justice Department, along with Attorney Generals of Maryland, Illinois, and New York, filed a civil antitrust lawsuit to block United Health Group's proposed $3.3 billion acquisition of Amedisys, the nation's top home health and hospice service provider. And there's evidence at the scene that the shooting was related to Thompson's job at United Healthcare. Investigators found shell casings inscribed with the words deny, depose, and defend. These terms are associated with insurance industry practices. Insurance industry critics say that the companies use three tactics to avoid paying claims: delay, deny, and defend. These strategies are so well known that Rutgers law professor Jay Feinman wrote a book about it. And his correct thesis is that insurance companies systematically deny claims to maximize profits. And one of the shell casings had the word depose instead of delay, which might be a reference to deposing the head of United Healthcare, or it might be related to litigation, where you depose someone when you take their testimony. I don't know, this is just speculation. The suspect was seen waiting near the hotel entrance before the shooting, and police say this indicates that he'd been tracking Thompson's movements and was aware that Thompson was scheduled to attend a meeting at 8 a.m. on December 4th. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch said
that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
But the police released additional surveillance photographs of a man, and the photographs show the suspect in the backseat of a cab and then exiting the vehicle. Police said, quote, Friday, the suspect caught a taxi around 7 a.m., Wednesday on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and took the cab uptown to a bus terminal near the George Washington Bridge, where they believe he may have caught a bus out of state. Although investigators found his cell phone near the scene, they don't yet know if it was the suspect's phone. And the FBI has now joined the search, offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the shooter's capture. And the Atlanta Police Department confirms it is also assisting. Investigators think the suspect boarded a bus in Atlanta about 10 days before the shooting. And meanwhile, the NYPD is slowly and haphazardly searching Central Park, leading some to speculate that they are just using it as an excuse to generate overtime. And the NYPD is offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to the suspect's arrest. And the New York Times reports that 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and he carried a false identification card similar to those alleged to have been used by the shooter at the New York City hostel. The gun is rumored to be a ghost gun, meaning that parts might have been assembled from a 3D printer and from parts that were purchased online. And that could explain why the gun jammed after being fired. And he was also found with a 3-page handwritten manifesto that showed, quote, some ill will towards corporate America. Now, in New York State, homicide offenses are divided into 2 degrees of murder, first and second degree. Murder in the first degree is the most serious homicide offense. Under New York Penal Code Section 125.27, first-degree murder requires specific aggravating circumstances, such as the victim was a police officer, peace officer, firefighter, emergency medical technician, or other public service, performing official duties, and the defendant knew or should have known the victim's status. The victim was a judge or a witness to a crime, and the killing was intended to influence judicial proceedings. The murder was committed for hire. The murder occurred during the commission or attempted commission of other felonies, including robbery, burglary, kidnapping, arson, rape, sexual abuse, aggravated sexual abuse, or escape. This is the so-called felony murder rule. The defendant had a prior murder conviction. The act was committed in an especially cruel and wanton manner involving torture. The defendant intentionally caused the death of 2 or more persons within a 24-month period, or the murder was committed in furtherance of an act of terrorism. The first-degree murder is classified as a Class A1 felony, and the punishment is 20 years to life imprisonment or life without the possibility of parole. The exact sentence depends on factors like the nature of the crime and the defendant's criminal history. Now, murder in the second degree encompasses the intentional killing of another person without any of these specific aggravating factors required for first-degree murder. And second-degree homicide applies in circumstances where the killer demonstrates a depraved indifference to life. It encompasses felonies committed during the commission of other crimes like robbery, burglary, or kidnapping. And there's also been a lot of speculation, which is mere speculation at this point, that Thompson's homicide could have been a professional hit. And New York law specifically addresses murder for hire under Penal Law Section 125.27, subsection 1A6, where it says, quote, the defendant committed the killing or procured commission of the killing pursuant to an agreement with a person other than the intended victim to commit the same for the receipt or an expectation of the receipt of anything of pecuniary value from a party to the agreement or from a person other than the intended victim acting at the direction of a party to such agreement. So in layman's terms, this is meant to cover a contract killing of someone other than the intended victim. In other words, other than a circumstance of like euthanasia, for example, if you're contracted to kill somebody else, in New York, a person who hires a hitman to carry out a murder is just as legally culpable as the person who committed the act. And this person would be called the principal of the first degree. And New York Penal Law Section 20.00 outlines a doctrine of criminal liability for the conduct of another, which is often known as the acting in concert statute. This law states, quote, when one person engages in conduct which constitutes an offense, another person is criminally liable for such conduct when, acting with the mental culpability required for the commission thereof, he solicits, requests, commands, importunes, or intentionally aids such a person to engage in such conduct. To decide whether to charge an accomplice as a principal, prosecutors look at whether the mastermind initiated the plan in some way, provided payment for the crime, and orchestrated the events leading to the murder. And the district attorney can charge both the person who commits the act of murder and the person who solicits or pays for it with first-degree murder. Now, if you've spent any time on the internet, you've seen that the reaction online has been mixed. United Healthcare generated $281 billion in revenue in 2023, and many people are justifiably angry at the way insurance companies made all that money. The murder prompted some people to share their healthcare horror stories, and variations of a popular meme along the lines of, sorry, but my insurance and Medicaid don't cover thoughts and prayers. Or this one, quote, all jokes aside, it's really fucked up to see so many people on here celebrating murder. No one here is the judge of who deserves to live or die. That's the job of the AI algorithm the insurance company designed to maximize profits on your health and no one else. And in fact, something like this actually happened fairly recently in the influencer murder for hire plot. Last month, a federal judge sentenced an influencer for orchestrating a murder for hire plot. Ashley Grayson is a 35-year-old Dallas-based influencer known for her online business courses, and she tried to hire a Memphis couple to murder 3 people, her ex-boyfriend, a business rival, and a social media critic. Grayson offered $20,000 for each target, and the Memphis couple feigned agreement but reported her to the FBI. And the jury convicted Grayson of using an interstate facility in commission of murder for hire in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1988. Now, as a reminder, Luigi Mangione has not been convicted of anything. We'll see what other evidence develops and what, if anything, we learn about what his motive might have been in this particular shooting. So obviously many people are upset about the state of healthcare in this country. And as you probably know, healthcare is often tied to your job, and many people are without medical insurance entirely. So if that makes you want to do some good this year, especially during this holiday season, today's sponsor, GiveWell, is here to help. There are over 1.5 million nonprofit organizations in the United States, and millions more around the world. But how do you know which ones can make the biggest impact with your donation? Well, GiveWell was founded to help donors with that exact question. They pour over independent studies and charity data.
To feel pain. I think it's actually Toffee L Pain. Oh boy, oh boy. I think you need to pray to God. Take your vitamins. Is this MS Paint? Is this part? This is part of the program to rehabilitate rapes by letting them make art. I think that's what this is. Oh, so you're into gore, into vor. Okay, that's good. You know what? I think there's very little that can be said about this. I'm glad you're off the streets. I'm glad you're getting clean. I'm glad you're in a warm, safe place. And, you know, try not to draw too much. I would actually recommend more Dota gameplay for this client.
More Dota, more cough medicine.
Yeah.
What do I do whenever I get hit with a weird lack of motivation and apathy? I go to the gym, study constantly, and try to keep a healthy social life, but I still fall into these ruts that can break me.
I think what David Goggins, who's a personal hero of mine, but what that guy says about motivation is true. I think that if motivation is what fuels you, you're gonna come up short. You have to have like discipline. The discipline is like taking the creative job and making sure that I'm in my seat working by a certain time every day, and I'm doing a stint of work that's a certain length of time. So that's what I would recommend. Like, force yourself to sit in a chair like as early as you can, like 9 a.m. Whatever, noon is fine if you're late, whatever, doesn't matter. But as long as you're in a chair, you got 3.5 hours on, you take a lunch break, you got another 3.5 hours, and like sit there and force yourself to do something. And if you can't figure out what to do, you just sit there. Don't get sucked into YouTube. Don't look at other crap. Just like do it like it's a job. But motivation is, I'm never motivated. I'm not motivated at all. I haven't been motivated in years.
It's James.
TimmyOilPaints.com. I think, how old are you? Are you 30?
30.
It does for sure look like you have mastery over the medium. I think what you might need is a sketchbook that you might need to draw. I mean, you're in a tough spot because who's gonna, even if this was grandmaster level, who would buy it? That's the first problem. The second problem is you do have to put in more time. If that's what you want to do, you probably have to suffer for another 20 years. The compositions were not, it's not that they're not interesting in the sense of like, they're not exciting enough or something, it's just that they're not good. And the lighting, very close to being good. This is good. This is an interesting painting. Maybe paint more from imagination. These are my two favorite ones right here. These are from imagination.
Team has reached 20 points. The leading team has reached 30 points. Ten more kills to win. One more kill to win. Victory! We are the scissors, destined to overthrow the world.
広がる闇の中じゃわしやあたじゃ決めのちぎり誰にも邪魔させる前に Anyway ただいいから走り続けた未来夢理想に変える誰もが望んで終わりを広がる闇の中じゃ虫やあたじゃ夢のちぎり誰にも邪魔させる Like Anyway ただきいつか僕が見せてあげる光に輝く世界はDip, dip, 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 dip.